1986, and I've got to thank my brother for it really, because he brought me to my first game when I was 11, and it was at home to Tranmere. We lost, but that was it. I was just hooked. I just came into this ground, and obviously it doesn't look much different to it does now, but I was just absolutely hooked, and that was it. Oh, it was incredible, and I was just so lucky for it to be that season, because we had the FA Cup game against Oxford, got to the playoffs, the first season of the playoffs, and that was over 2 legs playing Bolton, and sent them down to the 4th Division, and then the finals 2-legged against Wolves. Beat them here, beat them at Molineux, went up.
And as we can see around us, we've got this massive collection of yours. Why don't you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, a friend of mine showed me, who I've been coming with since 1986, and he showed me his collection, and it just kind of, I knew I had them over the years, but they disappeared through growing up and house moves, and it just prompted me to set myself a challenge and to beat him. And so I set this thing where I'll see if I could collect every shirt from 1986 to the present day. And that turned into something where we could raise money for the club. So the old media team and the old manager got involved, and we did something for Boost the Budget, where other fans donated their shirt for an agreed amount of money, and that money went to the club. Then we did a raffle auction, To my knowledge, I think I've got about 5 left, all from the old club. But they're so difficult to find because obviously the club went out of business in '92. So they are out there somewhere, I'm sure, but it's finding them and finding people willing to part with them, more importantly. Well, like I say, '86 was just incredible for it to be the first season, and promotion then, but of course, for the older fans of us, we know what happened in '92, and I was absolutely devastated. I'd only been coming 6 years, but already then it was just such a part of my life. And when it went under, I just absolutely gutted. And of course, thanks to Graham, Brooklyn, Terry Owens, things were already in the pipeline to set up Aldershot Town. And at age 17, I didn't really grasp how incredible that was. You didn't understand the importance of it, you know, from March '92 to not having a club to June '92 starting a new one. But at 17, like I say, I didn't really appreciate how much effort and work they put in along with everyone else. And then '92 onwards was just incredible. I mean, so many memories, it's hard to narrow it down, but yeah, it was a great start to the journey, '92, it really was. Well, the red and the white one there, my first season, 86, sorry, as we talked about, so owning that shirt and proudly wearing it as I did as a kid. So that was a great season, and the yellow one there is a great one to have, but actually quite sad because it was a player-worn shirt from the very last match at Cardiff. And that was it, that was Aldershot FC's last ever game. And another fan actually gave me that because he wanted it to go to a good home instead of sitting where in his loft. There's a range that were worn, 94, 95 I think it was, and we had a home kit and away kit, but also a third kit, and it was ones that the fans really quite liked. So I have got all 3 of those, and one of those actually donated by a former player as well. So.
You mentioned the end of season tour in 1994 as well in Malta. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that was, the players went out for end of season, what should we say, celebration. And a few of us fans got wind of it. And we went out there, and obviously the players were on holiday, that was the main thing. But actually they'd arranged a game against a team called Floriana, probably not Floriana's first team, but we went to the Maltese Cup final the day before, and then on a pitch outside that stadium, Aldershot played and drew 1-1 in the last minute. So technically Aldershot Town are unbeaten in Europe.
Talk about matches. What was your favourite match here at the stadium?
I would say that Wolves one just because, you know, it was so massive. But since then and since the new club, there's been so many, just so many memories, and I think it all culminates in the end of the journey, which was 2008, where we did get back to the league. And I know it wasn't here, but the nights at Torquay and Exeter, and that was it. That was the journey complete. And then we had the celebration here when we were going up, and the place was just absolutely rammed. And I can't even remember, it was that good. I don't remember who it was against, but it was after playing Exeter and after it being official, we got back to the Football League, and after 16 years of that, it was just incredible. It was just the pinnacle, really, I suppose, of getting the club back to where we thought it should be. Favourite goal? Again, too many, but there was one I just vividly remember because I've probably still got it on VHS, which shows how long ago it was. But we played Sunderland here in the 3rd Division. And of course, Sunderland were a huge club. And we won 3-2. And there's a guy called Steve Berry, and he scored from about 25 yards into the East Bank, right in the corner. And I'll never forget that goal, and I don't remember the other two. But that goal in the 3-2 win was just incredible. Early days of '92, and the players, of course, they were part-time, and they, were working and playing, and there was a real good feel about it. Because they were local lads, I think, Aldershot had just started up, when recruiting players because we'd just started. And the players that came into the club were fans, part-time players, and we just had a real bond. And there's one keeper who played for us, is Phil Burns, and he played only for a season and a half, but we actually became good friends after that. And actually on the back of that, he became godfather to my 2 little children, or youngest children. And that's all through him playing for us. It was incredible because although I didn't appreciate what Graham and Terry did, just in that short space of time to be able to then say on a Saturday, I'm going back to football again. Because when the old club went, we didn't know. We didn't know necessarily that we would be watching football in Aldershot on a Saturday. And that's something I just can't fathom. It's just a part of my life since 11, and I'm now 44. And although I'm not able to come as much as I used to, with work and family, and I do kind of feel a sense of guilt about that. All my mates still go regularly home and away, but I'm kind of offsetting that by what I've done with the shirts, and I also do some match sponsorship and things like that, because clubs like us need as many revenue streams as possible. It's the way of life, and if I'm not here, I'm constantly, as my partner will probably say, checking the phone for the results and the Twitter updates, and because it's just everything. Just knowing the result on a Saturday if you're not here is everything, and that's what the club means. I've got so much respect for the volunteers. I mean, as we said about revenue streams, clubs are never going to just survive on gate money alone, and the hospitality and the money making ideas are what we need. And I know Butts well, and he does a great job on that, and I think I've fully supported certain things that he's done, but the volunteers as well. I mean, they just unsung heroes, really, for what they do and for the love of the club, and that's what makes it such a great club, I think. I'm glad there is a club. I know it sounds like a cliche, but there's been times, obviously, everyone knows over the years, where that's not always been a given. The hard work of everyone to make sure there is a club is just incredible. And now we have, and now there's the talk of the development. Maybe this is our time. Maybe this is our time to be back amongst where we used to be, and that was, you know, in the late 80s when I started, 4th Division, 3rd Division, or League 1, League 2 as it is now. No reason why we can't get back up there.
Be back at Wembley, hopefully sometime soon.
That's my dream, to see Aldershot at Wembley in my lifetime. We've been close on so many times, and it just hasn't quite happened. And even when we did get to a playoff final, it was when Wembley was being redeveloped, so it was played at Stoke, which was a great day out, even though we lost. But yeah, it's not quite the same. So a trophy final would be great. But I think, you know, if it was there in a playoff final, then you know you've got a massive game to, you know, watch your team at.
Are you in with a shot? For more information, click the link below.
Click here for the next video, click here to subscribe.